What's up, YouTube? George Lehman here with MuscleMasochist.com. Going for one of my favorite drives. I've taken this drive 100 times. Going out by the beach where I used to want to live, actually. Back when that was my idea of success, was having a beach house. It's actually the canals of Hernando Beach in Florida. I wanted to make this video because I read a comment, and I appreciated the comment. It was something along the lines of like, oh, you're being really real. It's really good to hear from someone that's actually successful instead of these people pretending to be successful. And I don't want to pretend to be anything that I'm not. And sometimes I feel that people are misled as to what I actually am. I have had success in certain things. I've had success in deadlifts. I've had success in getting big and strong. I've had some success on YouTube, at least to the degree that I have. I have built, I built a business. It's not a very complex business. Personal training or selling information on the internet through a YouTube channel and social media is a very straightforward idea. You can make it as complicated as you want to make more money or make it more professional, but the idea of it is very straightforward. And I did buy some property, but here's the truth of the matter. My success, whatever success I have, none of it was what you would call created on my own. I'm in no way self-made. Every single piece of lifting information that I ever acquired was acquired from reading, from learning. I stood on the shoulders of other people for everything I've ever done. From learning the things that are beneficial to me, I learned from family, from friends, from reading. In terms of lifting weights, self-help, or being a better person, or investing, or all of those, everything I know was essentially taken from someone else, and maybe I improved on it, maybe I took bits and pieces from here and there, maybe I made it my own in some way, but I got help. I got help with everything, from top to bottom, and whenever, even with lifting, whenever I couldn't use training articles anymore because I just seemed to have read everything that I could, realistically get my hands on, or was, interested in enough to actually read, like I thought it was beneficial, I actually started going to the people that I respected and reading their training logs and asking them questions, specific questions. So, I don't want people to think that I'm walking around thinking I'm a self-made whatever. Even what I'm doing in real estate, yes, I did acquire some property on my own, and yes, I did intend to do that from a very young age, and it's always been my goal for as long as I can remember really having goals. However, in 2015, I believe it was, I intended to purchase, I already had some property, but I intended to purchase another 3 properties, and one of them was going to be out here, and I will show you. I didn't have a specific property, I had something in mind. I was gonna buy a beach house. I'm not gonna be able to turn the camera around because it's on something so it can face me. But I'll just drive around and you guys can kind of take it in. I was gonna buy a 3-story beach house because where I live, they were only like $250,000 at the time. These houses are on canals. The top floor is usually a bedroom. That was my idea of success. I was gonna go from there. I was gonna buy 3 more places in 2015, and that would give me a very solid foundation in real estate at that point because I already had some. But what ended up happening is I ended up breaking up with someone that I loved very much, and I had an extremely hard time because of the way it was done. I got very depressed, and I just couldn't focus, and I couldn't work. At the time, before that happened, I was doing very well with business. I was just going up and up and up. My channel was going incredible. It was getting stronger and stronger and stronger. I was going to deadlift 1,000 pounds. I was going to deadlift this. I was going to do that. I was going to build my business into this. But everything came to a screeching halt for me for months. Very depressed, very low, very unhappy. Didn't see the point in doing anything. All of my dreams, ambitions, all that stuff they just kind of fell to the side. And after just months of being depressed, I decided I couldn't be where I was anymore. I did intend to move to Asia at 25. I've been saying it for years. I ended up doing it when I was 24. I said, I got to get the fuck out of here. I can't stand this anymore. I can't stand this place where I'm at. I need to change everything around me if I'm going to have a change in my mind. And, you know, I rented out the house that I was living in and to a friend. And I got the fuck out of there. I got the fuck out of my little town. I got away from people that I didn't want to see anymore. I got away from all the memories that I had that I didn't want anymore. And that prevented me at the time from purchasing the properties that I wanted to get, and one of which was going to be on a mortgage. It was going to be a beach house. I was going to buy another house in cash. I was going to buy one on a mortgage, and I was going to take a small loan that wasn't a mortgage to buy an additional house in cash and use my own funds for the rest of it. So I was going to own however many properties in cash, and I was going to have however many properties on mortgages. That was my plan. Instead of that, I ended up going to Asia, and I got back on track with business. I started working hard again. I started saving money again. I got back in the mindset of real estate. And then my father got sick. And he'd been sick before with the same things, diabetes, went untreated. And my family didn't believe in, you know, medical treatment to the point of they wouldn't take antibiotics to treat an infection that was going to kill them. Gangrene, it'll kill you. Wouldn't take antibiotics. So my father got sick and passed away. And my father was a very successful guy. He saved a lot of money, and he sold health insurance, for a long time. And he had quite a large sum of money in life insurance for my brother and me and my mother. And he also had saved quite a bit of money. And when he died, I got hundreds of thousands of dollars. Immediately, just hundreds of thousands of dollars fell into my lap. I came back to America, and I started to invest that money because that was always the plan. And I just happened to be right at the right time that a property that was $60,000 and within a year's time, 2 years' time, became $100,000. And the properties that I had bought before, for example, I bought one for $35,000 and I put 10 into fixing it, and is now worth around $100,000. So I just got I got lucky. Again, I got lucky on timing. I knew that properties were really cheap, and I knew that they should be bought because I knew they rented a lot for how much money they costed. And that's why that was my plan for the longest time. But self-made, no. Nope. I cannot take credit. I can take a little bit of credit. I could have been stupider for the last however many years. I could have been stupider with money that fell in my lap. I could have, I could have never made plans for my future. Like I said, I've been wanting to retire at 25 for years. And since I was 11, I wanted to have rental properties. But essentially what I'm saying is everything I've done, even the online business I had, even the rental properties, just everything I've done, I stood on the shoulders of other people. I got help in all of it. And for you guys who don't see, a lot of people will just go, damn, that person's really, really, really capable. No, actually what it is, you just have to be capable enough to seek guidance and help and look for the right situations to take advantage of. So even if you don't think you're a very capable person, if you think you know capable people, you can benefit from them. Some people are going to be better at things than you are. Some people are going to be better at art. Some people are going to be better at music. Some people are going to be better at work. They enjoy working more than you do. They'll want to work for 12 hours a day when maybe you don't want to work at all. So you find other people that have things that you need, and you essentially use them to your benefit. And that's what I've been doing, and I've been very lucky, and I've had the right guidance. I was simply smart enough to try and take advantage of the things around me. Not self-made at all. Very lucky, and got a lot of help. However, because we're driving around, I don't know if you guys, how well you can see them, but we're driving around looking at beach houses. I also wanted to take the time in this video to explain what I do want to do with real estate and how I intend to branch out. Currently, I haven't purchased any properties on mortgage. Currently, I don't have any mortgages currently. Technically, I believe one property I have was owner financed. But anyway, one of them's $3,000. I owe somebody $3,000. I ended up making a deal with them to buy a duplex for $55,000, but I was going to give them $52,000, and I'd pay off the other $3,000 over a year, which just seemed like, I'm like, okay, I'll use the rental income from the duplex to pay off the other $3,000. Seems like a good deal to me. I ended up getting it $3,000 cheaper. Stuff like that. But the extreme majority of what I have, I don't have mortgages on. And what I intend to do with that is, essentially, when you own a property and it goes up in value, if you own it in cash, you can take loans against it. And you can take loans against it based off the appraised value. You have to hold it for a year, I believe. So say you bought a house for $50,000, you held on to it for a year, and now it's worth $100,000. Well, from the banks that I've found, I may be able to find better, but the banks that I've found will let me loan money on those houses, against those houses, at 75%. So if your house is $100,000 in appraised value, I could take out 75. So if you bought it for 50, which some of them I have 45 in it, and maybe they're worth 100 or so, I could take out 75 when there's only 45 in it. So that would obviously allow you to branch out drastically more, assuming that when you took that loan against the property still has enough rental income to pay the loan, to pay the insurance, to do the repairs. Assuming that property can still take care of itself in its own rent and still pay you $50, $100, $150, $200 a month on top of that, just profit for yourself, you now have cash in hand to invest in other things. So because my properties are mostly owned in cash, almost all owned outright, I intend in the next year or so to take loans against properties and use those loans to purchase additional properties on mortgages. Now, you can get a regular mortgage on up to a fourplex, to my understanding. Beyond that, you have to get a commercial real estate loan or whatever like that. It's different. But essentially what my plan is to take loans against properties that I already own, while making sure that those properties can pay for themselves and cash flow a little bit. So make sure I don't loan too much against a property if it can't cover its own expenses, and then use those loans to buy additional properties that are going to do the same thing. But instead of buying a house, fourplexes, 8, 12, 16, whatever unit apartments is what I intend to get. And because of that, I will be able to have drastically more rental properties. I'll be able to go from, let's say you had 10 that you owned in cash, say they were $100,000 each, you had $1 million, and you were able to take out 75% of that, you had $750,000. Now let's say you were going to put down 20% on properties, because that's generally a good idea. You're not going to pay any additional fees. Mortgage insurance, you're going to skip mortgage insurance when you put down 20%. So say you're going to put down 20% on properties that you intend to buy, and you don't want to buy a bunch of individual houses because that takes forever. So say you want to buy a 50-unit apartment building, and you found one for $1 million somewhere in America, somewhere where the real estate market is still low, and you need 20% for that. So you need $200,000, and you're working with $750,000. So you put $200,000 down. You now own $1 million worth of real estate. You're controlling $1 million worth of equity on that additional property. So now you're controlling $2 million. Okay. No, you don't own it outright. However, you have control over that $2 million. So if the market overall goes up 20%, you make $400,000 in cash. So there's great reason to leverage your money, to own more stuff, to control more money, because you can make a much better profit whenever the market goes up. So essentially what you would want to do is, or what I intend to do is, I intend to leverage the properties I have against drastically more properties, all of which need to be able to cover their own expenses, all of them, repairs, insurance, vacancies. You have to factor in all of those things, whatever percentage, management fees, because you're going to need a manager, a property management company to watch all these properties for you. You have to figure out what all those fees are and make sure that you can still turn a profit. And if you're still turning a profit, you're good, because now you're making more money, and that's all there is to that. You're making more money, but you're also controlling more money, which allows you to also make more money when the real estate market goes up. So say you took that $750,000 and you bought, say you were able to find 3 50-unit apartment buildings for an average of $1 million a piece. I mean, those are going to be real ghetto. Those are going to be ghetto as fuck. Let's say an average of $2 million a piece, and you buy 2. Okay, so you took $750,000, you put in $50,000 of your own money, and you bought 2 50-unit apartment buildings, and you already had $1 million in properties from your other 10 places. So now you are controlling $5 million in real estate. Now the market goes up 20%. You made $1 million in cash. At the same time, you are also paying off a loan against $4 million in property, because you bought 2 $2 million apartment buildings. So you would owe, at $400,000 down a piece, you would owe $1,600,000, $1.6 million. That $1.6 million will be paid off over 30 years. But in the meantime, say your $5 million in appraised value property doubles over 30 years, which isn't that unrealistic. You know, real estate generally follows inflation, et cetera, et cetera. So by the end of those 30 years or so, if you had them all at the same time, and it was 30 years it took to pay them all off, at the end of that 30 years, your $5 million in real estate that you were controlling may be worth $10 million and is now paid off. And you started from $1 million in properties. So say you started off buying 10 properties at $50,000 a piece. They doubled in value somehow, and now they were worth $100,000 a piece. You loaned 75% against that. You had $750,000. You used that money with an additional $50,000 to purchase 2 50-unit apartment buildings for $400,000 down a piece. And now you controlled $5 million in property that paid itself off and doubled in value over 30 years. Now, mind you, with 2 50-unit apartment buildings and the additional 10 properties that you had to start with, that's, 110 properties. So let's say you had 100, just to make the math easy, instead of 110. If you raised your rent $20 a year, you would increase your income by $24,000 a year, because $2,000 a month, 100 properties, $20, $2,000 times 12, $24,000. Every year you would make an additional $2,000 a month. So your income would not only grow every year, but your assets would pay themselves off more every year, and they would go up in value, theoretically, every year. And that is what I love about real estate. And the great thing about it is this process can be repeated over and over and over and over again. Because as your properties pay themselves off, and as they go up in value, you can then take loans against that equity that you've gained in the property, while keeping your payments the same, even though your rent has gone up. So you're making more money, your payments are staying the same, and you're able to loan that money out that you've been paying into your property to buy more property, which allows you to keep doing this. You just build and build and build, and it's very straightforward, and it's quite simple. At least that the concept is very straightforward and very simple. Yes, it can be extremely complicated. You could have legal issues, you could have, damages that you didn't see coming, you could have things you didn't understand before you got into it, but the concept is very simple. And I love real estate for that reason. And that is what I believe will make me successful. That is what I believe will make me feel I can say I'm successful. At this point, I will say I've had some success in some ways. At that point, I will say I am successful. That is what I love about real estate. That is what I would like to share with you guys in greater detail over time. Maybe what I would really like is to help people do it on a small scale so that they can build it to a large scale, because I would feel absolutely fantastic about helping anyone get out of the rat race and live a better life, because it would just, honestly, it would make me feel good. It would make me feel good to have helped people, to have felt like I made a difference for some people and my life wasn't just purely lived selfishly. The reason that I want to make money in the first place isn't for selfish reasons. Well, it is for selfish reasons. I want to have enough money coming in every year, more so every year, and a lot of it, and more and more and more, so that I can influence things around me to add benefit to the world that will make me feel good. If I have more money coming in, I can reach more people with my online business by paying for advertising, by hiring employees to do social media marketing, to help make better products, to find people that can make products for me that are going to help other people, that I can then advertise myself to make more money, to do more good, There's so many things that I want to do. See, you don't need that much money to be happy. I have enough money to be happy, without a doubt. However, I do love the feeling of progress. I do love the fact that I have less worries the more money that I have, and I can do more things for my family and more things for people that I like, and more benefit to the world. And that's the purpose of money. Money is not valuable because it's green paper. It's valuable because it can influence the things around you. It can provide safety and security in ways, and it can give you feelings of well-being for yourself and others. That's what money is for. So I believe everyone should care about money, and everyone should try and make a lot of money, because even if you don't care about money, someone else you know will, and you can use it to help them. Maybe your mother, maybe your father, maybe your brother, maybe your sister, maybe your girlfriend, maybe your girlfriend's family, whatever, maybe just your friend, whatever. Someone out there is struggling, and it sure would be fucking nice if you took the time to try and be successful in the ways that you could be, so that you could help other people when they needed it. If you're the type of person that has the ability to succeed in life, you owe it to the world to do so, and then to use that money for positive things, to give back to the world, so that you can grow your soul and feel good about yourself. It's all selfish, really. I talk about giving back to the world. It's all selfish. I want to do good things. I want to make a difference. I want to help people. And it's all inherently selfish. It's for ego. I want to not suck. I want to be successful. I want to be the savior of someone who needed me. I want these things. So don't go thinking that I'm virtuous. I'm not at all. I'm in it for me. It just so happens that what makes me happy is being of use to people, because then they turn around and say thank you, and I go, oh, of course. As always, guys, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Check out musclemasochist.com for approved products, apparel, coaching, stuff like that. And stay tuned for more videos like this and others. Peace.